Okay, we're going to record. We'll get started. We're glad Trish is here. She gets our undivided attention today. How cool is that? So we may have other people come in. I don't know. We're streaming to Facebook, so you can watch this anytime. This is super cool. But I was excited to have Rini come in. Trish knows Rini. A lot of people in this group know Rini because Rini's amazing. And just before Trish came in, we were talking about all of the lovely energy that is going around these days. We have a lot of energy stuff going on. So I am so excited about that. I think we might have froze up though. Dang it.
Maybe?
Are we good?
I think we're good.
Okay. Everybody I can see is frozen. I'm like, maybe it's me. Let me exit full screen here. That might help. Okay. So I'm going to let Rini introduce herself. That's funny. Facebook is frozen. That's why I'm like, oh, that is so weird. Okay. We got lots going on this screen here. Hopefully we can keep it all together. So Rini, I'll let you explain you. I think you're freaking amazing. I get to teach you Trish too. You guys are all in my spirit communication course, which is freaking fabulous. But I knew last week, I can't remember when we talked about it, Trish, I was like, I need to invite Rini in because Rini needs to come and talk about all the energy that's going on. So I'll let you introduce yourself and then we can kind of start chatting where you and I started when you first logged in because we were having a cool conversation there. So
yeah. Hi. Thank you so much for having me. I love being in your lives. And I wanted to tell you too, I'm loving the spirit communication course. We're 1 week in and I feel like big game changers going on. Just laying down the foundation. I've been having spirit party, playing my playlist and all my clearing and everyone's like, ooh, that smells good in here. It's really cool. I feel like everyone's feeling it. So I love that. I feel like it's going to be huge.
The collective energy in there is the bomb. Sorry to look, but I was like, oh my gosh, yeah,
it's amazing. I love it. I'm so excited. So I am an astrologer, a healer, a guide. I am an acupuncturist and body worker, and so I do a whole bunch of things. Right now, I'm really doing a lot of astrology, but I think what's different about me is I'm doing astrology with an emphasis on healing, of how to use it really. So it is fun. To me, it's like fun and interesting. I've been studying it since I was 9, but really it's about like, how can I use this as a tool for my healing, for shifting, for growing? And so that's why I like to talk about the energy, because for me, I'm so sensitive to energy, and most of the people that I hang out with are really sensitive to energy. Yeah, exactly. Right. And so for me, it's really helpful to either figure out like, hey, what's going on? Because I'm tapping into some energy that maybe isn't mine. And how can I really use this? Right? How can I use this as a springboard to create whatever I'm trying to create? So that's why I'm here to talk about the energy of what's going on right now in the collective. There's a lot, you might hear of like the Lionsgate, and, it's really potent this year. So we're going to talk all about that. We're going to talk about even like the numerology of it and all sorts of things, as well as like the general thing of what's going on for this year. So
before everybody came in, I love that. Thank you for sharing that. And before everybody came in, you and I were talking about, I told you this last night, I was like almost having like a panic attack overload. Like it was so big last night. Like, so I had to go jump on my bike and go do some grounding, because literally I went and rode I'd already walked my dogs and done it, but I was like, I have to bring this shit off or I'm not going to sleep. Like, so literally like, that's what I did last night. And I could just feel it. It was very intense last night. And I have a lot going on too. And I think everybody does. Everybody that I talked to is like, oh my gosh, we're so busy. We got people coming. We got blah, 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 blah. You got, and it just adds, it's almost like we're in this intensity of like, got to do. And backing it off a little bit and going, no, we don't. Like, so I don't know how, we didn't really talk about that this morning, but that was kind of what my thoughts on all of this were, is like, holy cow, like it's a do energy. It feels big. It feels vibrant to me. It feels amazing, but
Yeah.
overwhelming.
Yeah, and we do right now. We're in the season of Leo. The sun is in Leo, but we right now have a grand fire trine going on. So there's a lot of fire energy, and that's that do, right? That's that intensity. There's this doing, this transforming, and all of this, and remember that there's all sides of fire, right? So it's like fire is amazing. Fire is, do, initiate, create, transform. There's light, right? There's passion, and it's easy to burn out. So you really need to make sure you're doing things to tend to yourself, right? Because fire too, a candle flame is a fire, like if you have a controlled fire, but then you have out of control fire as well, right? So there's different intensities of fire, right? And so you want to be able to know where that is for you. Fire is also explosion, anger, right? Frustration, all of these things. So for people who aren't doing the work, you might see a lot of outbursts. You might see a lot of angry arguments or things like that. Whenever I would do Tai Chi, when I was learning Tai Chi, we would do it on the waterfront in Portland downtown. And you could see in Chinese medicine, we're looking at how you see the effect of the seasons in us, right? Because we are a reflection of the cosmos. So you could see the heat, you could see the fire in the people. Things would be getting exacerbated, like there would be more arguments and outbursts and yelling and things like that. And it can be a lot of intensity, right? So remember that there's different aspects of this. And to keep it in that positive place of passion, of transformation and things like that, it really takes some mindfulness and some care.
I can totally understand that because I'll share it. I'm not always loving light. Are you always loving light, Rini? Like every moment of every day of every, how about you, Trish? Like I actually went to dinner together. Well, it's my birthday this week, when I went to dinner, we went out to dinner on Tuesday night, and I was super annoyed with our waitress. And I was like, oh my gosh. I'm kind of laughing at myself. The old me would have been like, Jimmy, get over yourself. It's funny as you're saying that because I'm like, why am I so annoyed with her? Like, it took her forever, like, to do anything, and she'd never come back and check on us. Like, I needed water 30 minutes ago, and we're still sitting here. And like, I was just super annoyed with her. It was so funny because I'm like, okay, don't yell at her. She's just doing her job. Like, obviously, she's got a little bit much on her plate tonight too. Like, but it was just interesting to me because I came home and kind of giggled and was like, oh my gosh, this energy is like,
too, of like I needed water, right? Like water is the opposite of fire.
yeah.
Right? Water is like soothing and healing and purifying, right? Water literally puts out fires, right? So it's like,
see, I needed water.
Yeah, and so it is the balance. Like there's no it's not a surprise that like when it's hot out, like Leo season, like people go to the lake, people go to the rivers, the ocean, things like that, right? Because it's a beautiful balance that way, and then it's in harmony, and then we can calm and feel that good fire inside, right? That fire that is kind of continually stoked but never overwhelming, right? That's that kind of fire that we can really cultivate. And so right now fire is easily accessible, right? So because we have this grand fire trine, we have the sun and Mercury in Leo, which we'll talk about. We have Chiron in Aries, which has been in Aries for a while now. And then we have the south node of the moon in Sagittarius. So all of the fire, and they're all in the middle, they're all in that 12 to 16 degrees of the sign. So they're creating this perfect trine right now. And the sun, within a week, it's going to really lessen up quite a bit because the sun will continue to, and Mercury will continue to move. So we'll lose that trine of it. I do want to talk about the Lionsgate portal because it has a lot to do with this Leo fire energy. You're probably seeing a lot of it on social media and maybe kind of like what is this, right? I remember when I first was like, what is this, right? So I learned about it as being the 8-8 because it's on August 8th. And so I kind of learned about it at first with the numerology, but it's much bigger than that. So I don't know if you've heard of the star Sirius. So the star Sirius is basically the brightest star in our sky. And it just came back for us into view. And it is 3 times the mass of our sun and 10 times the brightness.
Wow.
So it's further away, which is why we don't see it as a sun. But many people consider it like a second sun for us, for our galaxy. So it is, and we are what's considered downstream from it. So if there's like, with any kind of polarity of chemicals and things like that, things will move from like positive to negative, right? Mm-hmm. So it has a positive polarity, and it is basically sending us its energy because we're in its direct energetic path. So it is rising, and we are in its direct energetic path, and it is like the second sun for us. So it is really opening and illuminating. It is all about liberation. And it, in the period of like July 26th, end of July, this year it's the 26th, through August 12th. Those are the dates for this year, but that's the typical range. It is what we would consider really active, right? So this is the portal opening. So it is this kind of portal opening for ascension, for liberation, for awakening. So those are the themes of what this Sirius brings to us. And it's considered the highest activation on the 8-8 because of the numerology of it. But it is happening this whole time. So this whole time of the end of July through almost the first half of August is this opening. That's what you're feeling every day. That's like this bike ride. This is like activation, right? Yeah. It's activating on a DNA cellular level. It's activating. So anything that you've been working on, anything you've been growing to manifest, like this is prime time. Mm-hmm. What I love about this year is 8-8 is also the new moon, which is all about planting the seeds. Mm-hmm. Okay? That's when we set our intentions. So this year, intention setting with the new moon, this Leo new moon, is going to be super potent. So if you've been wanting to create something, and you can start now, you can start, doing all of your maybe journaling, the visualization, like these are things to do, go out in nature, all of that, tending to your creation, making a vision board. Like this is the time to do stuff like that. And really, having some kind of ceremony or ritual on the 8-8 would be super powerful. Yeah. And when I say like ceremony ritual, sometimes that's like, ooh, how do you do that, right? But it can be super simple. It can be lighting a candle in front of your vision board. It can be writing out your intention, having some music, lighting some incense. Like if you have a crystal, just, don't be afraid to like make it your own, right? I feel like we really miss ritual in this culture. Yeah. And I feel like that's a really connecting container for us to make things sacred. But it doesn't have to be something that's unfamiliar. It doesn't have to be something that's like overwhelming. It can be super simple. It's about the energy you bring to it.
I agree. I think we've lost a lot of that ritual thing. And when we start talking, when this spiritual awakening to me, I have lots of little rituals that I do every day, down to doing my hair and doing my makeup and showering. Like those are all rituals to me. But a lot of people get all weirded out and think, oh my gosh, because we want to wrap that religious.
Right.
And I'm like, no, you don't understand. It's setting up your day for success.
Yes.
It's just stepping into this. Like, I just like today when Rini came on, I'm in here and I bring in my water because that's my way to invite my guides in. I start my diffuser, I put my stuff in there, I set my intentions with what I put my diffuser in, I clear out my space. Like, it's all part of the deal. Super easy. We don't have to make it a big deal. Like,
Exactly. Yeah, super simple things, that just the things that you like, right? The smells that you like, but you know, like the flowers that you like, whatever it is, have fun with it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So this Lionsgate portal, so 8 is based on, so 8 is the number of healing, but 8, right, tipped on its side is the infinite. So when you have 8, it's like the infinite, right? It's like infinite times infinity, which is what goes on for forever, right? The all that is, the everything. So that's the energy we're tapping into, literally source energy, where you can create anything, right? So if like there were no limits, this is about no boundary, right? Boundaryless potential, infinite potential. And with it being Leo energy, it's about the heart, right? Leos wear their heart on their sleeve. Right? Leos are generous and joyous and innocent and celebratory, right? So it's about like anything that you've been working on about your self-expression, about your authentic being, about really letting people see you. This is like, it's just amazing time to really actualize that, to activate that. So
I've noticed too, Rini, as you're saying that, sorry to interrupt you, but I'm like, I have noticed in my business, well, and I'm showing, I mean, I'm doing the work here, like, that I have noticed even in my business, people are messaging me, it's like coming out of the woodwork. It's like evolving. And of course, I'm doing the work too. So I'm not saying like that it's just like, like happening, but I have noticed that lately, like as you say that, I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, that is true. Like, I do feel more visible. I do feel more in front of people. I do. It's a good feeling though. It's not a bad, this isn't a bad feeling to me. Like, this is like, damn, it's about time. No. Like,
totally. And, you know, and it's like, what I love about this too is, you know, so we have this whole year, we've had, you know, this whole like post 2020 year has still felt intense because we have this year-long square going on, and that's the Saturn in Aquarius and Uranus and Taurus. And so the square is going on, and really that's you might see it on the more global levels where we are really you know, coming up against, you know, that some like resistance to the structures and boundaries, right? Like economic structures, political structures, all of these things, right? We're really seeing, you know, we're wanting to change with Uranus, like really change, foundationally change these structures. But we're also seeing it on a personal level, right? Where we're really running into like, what's not working here? Like, what parts of my life are not working, right? And so it's, you know, all of this is being brought in with because the sun and Mercury is there too, and so the new moon that's coming up is all activating this even more. So to me it feels you know, just like eclipse season feels like a pressure cooker. That's Saturn and Uranus is also this pressure cooker feeling, because Saturn is like the constraints, like things that like the boundaries, and Uranus is like push, like I'm not going to take any boundaries. So you're going to feel this push pull, right? It's like this constant push pull. So wherever you feel this push pull in your life right now, which every person I've talked to all year is feeling it somewhere, right? Wherever you're feeling that, this is the time to work on that, because Uranus can be spontaneous healing. It's change, it's transformation, and it's revolution, it's rebellion. You know, it's like if you're feeling that there's a place in your life that you want to break free, like break free. This is the universe is supporting you in that, you know, change it.
I have noticed that too. It's like, and it will be instant. Like, you want to work on something. I was riding my bike just, I don't know, I've been doing a lot of bike riding lately here, and I freaking love it because it's been a good way to like work. But I was riding home and I said it on my live, and my guides asked me, how long are you gonna hold on to this shit?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I don't know, like 40 years sounds pretty good. Like we've been doing it for 40 years. Like, I don't know, like, you know, it was just really weird. It was like that. And he's like, are you ready to be done? And I'm like, sure, why not? Like, that was it. Like literally, like it was just that like a 30-second conversation with my guides. And I was like, oh, why hadn't I done that before? Like, because it really is just like that, it can be that easy. Like, yes. But you definitely have to acknowledge it. To me, it's got to be acknowledged. You've got to understand it, and you've got to go, oh yeah, you're right. Like,
yes, it has to be authentic, right? It's like it has to be in that authentic place. And what Mercury is giving us the opportunity, because Mercury is conjunct the sun right now, so it's going to be conjunct the new moon as well, is Mercury is all about our beliefs, our communication, our thoughts, right? So this healing, really, you will have this opportunity to change the mindset, change the thinking patterns, right? Change all of those things that are holding us back, right? Yeah. That's the Saturn energy. So like all the thoughts and beliefs and, you know, things that are holding us back, like now is the time, break free, be your authentic self, right?
Yeah.
The portal is open, you know, create this new, and not necessarily new, but maybe the parts of yourself that are hidden, right? The parts of yourself that you've been denying and not allowing to show up, like allow it to show up.
So, Rini, would you say this is like the perfect time? Because this is my healing group. This is like the perfect time for healing, don't you think? I'm like, just FYI out there, anybody who's sitting on the fence, like.
Yeah, and you know, I'm guessing that maybe you don't work on Sunday, and you know the energy.
Well, hell, if the gate's open, we're doing it, like.
That's like, when I have done potent like new moon, full moon healing sessions, they blow my mind. So just putting that out there.
Yeah.
You know, you do work one Sunday, like this Sunday might be the one to work.
I do not work Sundays, but you know what? I would make an exception for anyone who wants to do that this week. Like.
It is, and you know, the new moon energy continues, right? It's not just Sunday too. So it'll filter into Monday, Tuesday. So those will also be very potent. And you know, and the moon is all about healing, right? And emotional healing. And then with the Mercury, you have like healing the beliefs. And then with the Uranus, you know, you have like, boom, change it. Just totally change it.
Just change it. Just be done. Yeah. Just let that shit go.
Totally. So, you know, I would say this is the perfect time. There's Francine Hart. She does the Sacred Geometry Oracle deck. Mm-hmm. She said, what this Lionsgate port, or the infinite, sorry, is this unbroken wholeness in flowing movement. And that's what I love that we're kind of tapping into, right? Is like we're tapping into that unbroken wholeness in ourselves. Mm-hmm. Right? Because just like the cosmos is this unbroken wholeness, we are that as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
We're so cool. Looks like Claudia's, we're gonna have someone come in here. So let's talk, this word abundance keeps coming up in my mind, Rini. So I can't get away from it, so I'm just gonna throw it out there. What do you have for me on abundance? Because we're just having a little chat here about all of it. Trish, do you have any questions while we're doing all of this? And if you do, just chime in. You don't have, this isn't like Rini and I are having a conversation and nobody can say anything. So chime in if you have questions, because that's why you're here. So talk to me about abundance, because I keep hearing this word abundance and I keep hearing we need to chat about it. So where are we at with all of that?
Yeah, I mean,
that's what we care about, right? Where's my money?
You know what? So, you know, there's a couple things with abundance. So, you know, we talked about that grand trine, right? And you know, Sagittarius is one that is about abundance. So, you know, so it is being activated in this openness. And then also the Uranus and Taurus. So Taurus is also about abundance. Like Taurus is about like our material things and value and so there's different, all the signs, all the planets they have, and just like we do, right? We have like the shadow aspects, we have the light aspects, and none of them are bad, right? There's nothing bad about shadow. We're here, and it's part of wholeness, right? It's part of our wholeness. And so when I think of the shadow aspects of Taurus, there can be this kind of really materialistic or hoarding or things like that. And so the shadow aspect of Taurus I see as really scarcity mindset.
Hey, yeah.
And right, the light aspect is the abundance. And so with Uranus here, we really have the ability to shift that. We really have the ability to really shift that. And I would say it's like right now on the mental level and on the emotional level. So we have this new moon, and then we have the Mercury. But we also have the ability all year to be shifting that, right? This year, if you're looking at, if you're looking just at the abundance aspect and you have the Saturn square, you can look at like, what are the boundaries? Like, what are the things that are holding me back? And what are the positive boundaries? Like the positive things I can be doing to set myself up for that, right? So like really putting those things in place. So maybe it's like, hey, I'm just avoiding even looking at my bank account. It's like, because like I don't want to see it, and that kind of thing. It's like, well, is that working for you? And would that idea of who you are as this abundant being be doing that behavior? No. It's like set up, start doing the things that your abundant being would do. And and like that could be a gratitude practice, right? That could be the nuts and bolts of learning about how to budget and organize your finances, or hiring a financial planner, or what those things are for each person is going to be different. But yeah, definitely in this next week we have this really potent shift possibility with your mindset, with your emotions. So like this, if you're wanting to see some abundance, start seeing the abundance you have now.
Yeah.
Right? Create the intention to see the abundance that's already around you. Right?
That's so good. Mm-hmm.
Like that would be a great intention for abundance mindset. The other aspect, I feel like safety is popping up for me.
Yeah.
The word. And so I think one thing that I love reminding myself is that the universe has my back.
Yes.
Because that's like a huge shift. Like that's, I think part of the scarcity is that I'm not going to be taken care of, or like that rug being pulled out. And then and when we tap into the energy of the universe has my back.
Yeah.
I remember when I was connecting with earth energy, and this is where like we got to balance the fire, right? So we got to tap into the other places of grounding, earth, water, right? These kinds of different, and both earth and water are what we consider the yin, the feminine aspect. They're the more grounded. They're a little bit more slow moving, and they're settling. Yeah. Versus fire and air are active and movement, and like quickly shifting. And so the tapping into these like earth and water is really helpful to balance that, because even earth puts out fire, right? If you like put earth on a fire, it puts it out.
Yeah.
So so that's another way to balance. But like I remember when I tapped into earth energy, and spirit told me about like Mother Earth, regardless of who you are, regardless of what you've done or where you've been, supports every single one of us the same, right? Like talk about total non-judgment, right? Like she doesn't give different gravity to you at different times of your life. Like she will give you steady gravity for your entire life. Yeah. And she will never leave you. And there's no place you can fall that she won't catch you.
Yeah.
And that's the stability of Mother Earth, that no matter what happens, like she is there holding you.
And not only that, we use her a lot in the healing process. And, you know, that's where we let all that extra energy go. That's where we bring up those nurturing energy, that Mother Gaia energy, that beautiful energy to support you and love you and hold you during your healing process. So I love that you said that, because that is freaking amazing. Like, so true.
Yeah. And, you know, I remember when I heard, it was actually, another counselor who said, you know, talked about like giving your emotions, giving your fears, giving whatever it is that's troubling you to Mother Earth. You know, if you're on a walk or on a hike, like hand it over, give it over, through you know, stomp it out, right? Things like that. You're not going to hurt Mother Earth. Like she can take it. She can hold
Got
all
it.
of it and transmute all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, she does beautiful. She does a beautiful job of that. Like, I love bringing her energy into my healing sessions, because it's what we all crave. It's what we all want. It is those beautiful, accepting feelings of love and caring and compassion that we all want. Like, that's what I feel from her. Like,
yeah,
that beautiful, perfect mother in the perfect world that we all want. It's like,
totally. And for me, I went to Standing Rock back in 2016, and I was invited into a sweat ceremony. And that was the process that happened, was this, it was this, like, I was rebirthed from Mother Earth.
wow.
And it literally healed like so much of my mother wounds, because I reconnected to the eternal mother, you know.
Yeah, I don't think we realize how powerful that is. We just take that for granted because it's just there. Like, we just walk on it every day. Like, yeah.
Totally. And you know, yeah, and I love too, like finding different ways to engage that relationship, you know. Like creating earth altars has been a great one for me this last year. And just like finding a beautiful rock, and then on top of that I put a crystal and a beautiful flower. And then every time, you know, I have one in my backyard, every time I go and I'm like, oh, I'm going to change the flower out or something like that. And it's such a beautiful way to connect and create that sacred relationship.
Yeah.
A container for that. So that's something that I love doing. Or just having an offering. And you know, usually it'll be something like, say if I see a beautiful flower or something like that, and I'll like go to a tree and I'll just have this gratitude, or set an intention and hand over the flower, you know, that kind of a thing. And
I love that.
with abundance, I was working on abundance, you know, because I went to a really powerful healing session with you, and it was right around that time. And I had, you know, Spirit said, give an offering to Mother Earth. And I did. And just stuff started clearing. Like she just cleared the path for stuff to start coming in. So, you know, it's really powerful.
I've even had some of the same experiences. It's amazing when you move stuff out of the way, even allowing it to move out of the way, how things change very quickly.
Yeah.
We just get stuck in these old patterns, these old ways, and we don't realize that, you know, we're standing in our own way, literally. Like,
yeah, and that's, you know, a lot of the healing work that I do, that I have been doing with people, of like clearing those stuck points and things like that. It is about the allowing, right? It's like, it's the brain doesn't want to shift because it gets scared. And it's like, we can find ways to like coax the brain into like, it's okay, and into safety, so that we can make those shifts. Because I find that as soon as you allow them, they actually go quite easily.
yeah. It's just, to me, it's being aware of it. It's understanding where you're at and knowing. Because I've had some massive changes happen this year just by doing that for myself. Like, and just saying, okay, look, I see this is where we've been, you know, a lot of this stuff we've held on to for so many years and we just think it's the way we are. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's what you've created. And it doesn't. And just like you created that, you can uncreate that and create something else for yourself.
Totally. Yeah. I find that like perspectives and beliefs, like they really can shift like on a dime.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
That's what I love about healing work. I'm like, no other place on the face of the planet. And I'm not dogging counselors or anything like that, but you do not go get that kind of work done. But I know, because I've done it. Like I did it. I did all the things. And then I found this and I was like, holy, where have you been my whole life? Like, man, we could have cut to the chase like a long time ago. Like, so yeah, there is no other way to me. I don't see, and I'm not saying they don't have their place, so nobody read that into this. Like, there's definitely a time and a place for everything, but it's like, if you want to get moving in life, this is literally the way to do it. Like,
yeah, totally. Yeah. And it's, you know, we all take our own sacred journeys and our own paths. And yeah, I feel like that was my experience too. Like when I tapped into source healing,
yeah.
it was like, there's no better way.
Learning to understand your self-worth and where you're at and what your place is here. And that is you get to that, to me, that self-worth and that stuff, but the rest of it just kind of will flow from that, will stem from that. Once you understand you deserve this life, you don't have to earn your way to be here. Good Lord, you were given this opportunity and you're not taking it. Like, it's like being handed a gift and you're like, no, I can't take that. I can't take it. No, really, like, here you go. No, you know, and that's what we do. We do that for our whole, and now they're like, finally, for the love of God, open the damn thing. Like, we've been sitting here in front of you for 40 years, open the damn thing. Like,
and really like remembering that you are source, right? It's like the reason that source healing works is because you are source.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why abundance works, and that's why manifestation works. And everything that you can do, you know, coming into alignment is coming into the alignment of source, right?
You know, I had a hard time understanding that, Rini. So maybe, you know, and it took me a lot of years to like step into that. Oh my gosh, I am source love. Oh my gosh, I am source abundance. I am all of these things. This is me. This is inside of me. How do you explain that to people? Because I think it's a perfect, you know, it's hard to kind of wrap your head around at first because you're like, come again? Like,
one of the things I love doing is bridging ancient communication, bridging it with the present of like what's relevant now, and bridging between different, you know, why is it that different people, ancient people from different parts of the world kind of came up with the same thing? Yeah, they have different names, they might access it in a different way, but really they're accessing the same thing, right? So, you know, when I think of it like from Chinese medicine, you know, in the Taoist perspective, in the classics, it talks about as above, so below, as on the inside, so on the outside. You know, and what is that saying? And that, you know, that is the reason for astrology, right? It's like if we look up to the sky, it's just down below is just a reflection. The three-dimensional is just reflecting the sky. As on the inside, so on the outside. That means like, you know, everything you see, absolutely everything. When you look out and stargaze, when you look out and see a field of flowers, the mountains, you know, whatever is like magnificent to you, whatever is like that strikes awe in your heart, right? All of that is on the inside. Like you are all the magnificence that you see, right? You are anybody you look up to, right? You are just a reflection of that. What you see, actually what is resonating for you is what you have in here. And what I love is like, so, you know, tuning forks, right? So if you have a piano and you open up the piano and you see the strings and you have, say, one tuning fork and it vibrates on a certain frequency, right? And all the strings have, because of their length, a different frequency. If I activate the tuning fork, The string that matches will start vibrating on its own without being struck. So you don't have to hit the key. It will automatically start vibrating. So that is science. That is resonance. That's what resonance means. And what's happening is you are resonating. When you get excited, when you get happy, when you get anything, you are resonating with something on the outside. So they're both vibrating at that same frequency. So when you look up to a teacher like Gina, I look up to you in your healing session, you're talking and you're just getting all of these direct messages from spirit. It's easy for me to like put you on a pedestal and be like, oh my God, Gina's amazing. But when you look at resonance, like the thing that makes me excited to be around that is that in me.
Yeah, in you. That's what I try to tell people. I'm like, you know, what you see in me is what is inside of you. And because it's true. What I see in my mentors and guides is that's because that's what's inside of me. And we all resonate together with that. Like,
and we are, I think of it as blind spots. Like it's easier to see it in you because I have my own personal blind spots. I have all the thoughts and I have, you know, like I might have the negative thinking and the training and things like that, and the habits of thought that prevent me from seeing it in me. But Gina doesn't have that about me. So Gina sees it in me, right? And I see it in Gina. But it's when I clear this, and that's the work, right? When I can clear that, then I can sit with that light and bright within me.
I love how you just explained that. I'm so glad I asked you because I freaking love how you just because I'm over here going yes, 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 yes. Like, you know, I think it's hard.
How you explained? Yeah. Sorry, Gina.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Trish. I'll shut what.
Like, no, thank you, because that was like it really laid it out. Because I have a hard time seeing that too. Like, and I know people have explained it, but how you just explained it, wow, thank you.
Yeah, I think that's why. Sorry, that's why we all need each other too, because the way Rini explains it may not be the way Trish gets it, and the way I explain it may not be the way that, you know, this is why we need each other in this whole work. This is why I'm like, yes, bring in Rini. Yes, we need this to come in. Yes, we need, because there might be something just like today that she says, it's like, whoa, I got it. I'm on. Like, yeah. And
yeah, and I love too, because there's different, like that's another reason I love different ancient wisdoms, because people have different ways of thinking, different perspectives, and their language reflects that, right? So the way we think is reflected in the way that we speak. And, you know, in English, I love this concept. This one blew my mind. In English, I am is an incomplete sentence, right? I am blank. You have to finish it with something. I am whatever, right? And I remember when I read, so in Sanskrit, there's a phrase soham or hamsa, and it means I am. But it's a complete sentence. It's a complete thought. Because what it's saying is I am the all that is. I am equal to the all that is. But you just say I am. And that, like, that is the all that is. Right? And when I realized that, I was like, oh, this is why I feel incomplete. Because I was raised in a perspective that sees it that way. That doesn't mean it's the truth, right? That's not the absolute truth. That's just one perspective. And I thought, imagine that. Imagine the perspective that I am is literally the all that is.
I love that imagine, because that's what we need to start doing. Like, yes. What if that's possible? What if that is my truth?
Yes.
Imagine that being my truth.
Yes.
And what could I become and what could I do if that is indeed my truth?
Yes. I love that. Yes. Because it is, because the brain doesn't even know the difference between imaginary and real. No. So you start imagining it and you are tapped into it.
Yep.
Like literally that is all it is. You know, people, and I'm sure you talk about this or, you know, you have conversations about this all the time with intuition, where it's like, oh, well, how do I know if it's intuition or my imagination? Does it really matter?
Doesn't matter.
Matter.
I have people ask me all the time, and we'll talk about it in spirit communication.
Yeah.
How do I know whether it's spirit or my guide? Does it really matter?
Right.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
You're getting that higher information. Does it really matter? Do you really care that much where you got that from? Say thank you for the love of God. Yes, it's important to learn the difference, but does it really matter? No. Like, yeah.
Totally. Yeah. It's so to me, I think, you know, it's like tapping into, you know, and it's like how you said, everyone hears things differently, connects in differently, you know, and so there's different ways to tap into that. You know, I started years ago with Abraham Hicks and just listening to Abraham Hicks. And it's like, and that was really supportive for me at that time. And it's like, and now I have different ways, and because, you know, it's like that was really good to kind of I looked at it as like this shower of positive thinking, because my thinking was so negative. I needed something to balance it out with, you know, because I wasn't at the stage yet of just like, no, I'm not going to go there, right? So I just would have it on. And it's, I remember, you know, that source runs to me and through me. That was like, okay, source runs to me and through me. You know, it was like, you know, so whatever your way is of tapping into that, you have ways of doing that. Explore it. When you find the one that like, oh wow, go with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm like you, I did Abraham Hicks for a long time. I still go back to it sometimes when I'm having a bad week. I'll just sit and listen to it while I'm doing my hair. My morning ritual, like, because that used to be my morning ritual, was tapping into that every day and bringing in that energy and starting off my day in that way. Like, now I'm like you, I have found different ways to get there. But sometimes I still go back to it because it's an easy way to just build up that vibration, because that's what we need. It's all about vibration. It's all about where you're at.
Yeah, and I love your abundance, you know, your free abundance meditation. I love that at bedtime.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
For me at bedtime. And I actually just shared it with a friend of mine who, you know, kind of just had a disaster crisis and was like, you know, really needing a shift. So I was like, I know Gina's meditation, that's the one. So yeah, you know, finding those ones that really work and going with it.
Yeah. I think that's probably our biggest downfall as humans. And I don't mean that to be like it just is, but we get stuck in patterns and we don't see it for what it is, that, oh my gosh, I need to do something actively to pull myself up. And we stay there because we didn't know any better for a long period of time. And then we create these identities and we think, oh, this is just who I am. And no, it's a pattern that you've gotten into. Now it's become your identity. Now it's become an even bigger problem. Like, and I don't even look at it as a problem. I shouldn't say it that way. It's just where you're at. But it's bringing in, I think that's probably what I talk to most people who haven't done healing. It's bringing in this new understanding, opening up your horizons, learning to understand who you are and what your worth is. And that you're not here to beg people to love you. Freak, start living your life. Like, those people who love you will come, and those people who don't, bye-bye. Like, so, but it's hard to get there. Like, it's hard to, you know, our human mind's like, I can't see that for what it is. It's easy to say it and you're like, yeah, sure, whatever. She's so full of shit, she's blowing that out. But it's like, no, it really is. Like, this is how it works. And all you got to do is tap into that source, that healing, that power, and you are well on your way to where you need to be.
Yeah, and like we are in this portal opening for it, right? So like Queen's Gate is this up leveling. It's like a time to up level, or you know, if you're thinking of like upgrading your software, you know, it's just like we are doing that right now. And I think one of the things that one of my misconceptions before I had really begun to up level was I was looking for it as if it was an outside thing, That was one thing.
Yeah.
So I was looking for something to come in from the outside because of that belief that like something's wrong and I need to change it. Right. So there was that. And there was this belief that like something would shift and then I'd be good. And it's not like that, right? You know, it's this process and it's this thing that we do. Like it's not a state of being so much as it's this like continually cultivating that. And we kind of, you know, we have these ebbs and flows within that. And yeah, overall, if you look at the overall, it might be like a state like we've up leveled in general, but it's still this process that we engage in. That like, I like how you talked about that active thing, because yeah, I'm here and I'm doing like A, B, C, D every day. And if I stopped doing A, B, C, D every day, then yeah, I would start feeling it and I wouldn't start feeling as good. And, you know, and yeah, it's not like I go backwards or anything because there's no backwards, right?
No.
We're just here.
Different. It's just a different vibration that you're going to go to for a while.
Exactly. And then the things that, you know, that help clean that out, I'm going to go back to those, and then it's going to start, you know, I'm going to start.
And I think we all do that. It was interesting. I was just having a conversation yesterday, as you were saying, like, I hear this all the time. If I get this job, things will change for me. If I like literally just had this conversation yesterday with one of my kids, and it was like, the job's not going to make your life better, honey. The job can help you get where you want to be, and the job can, but I promise you, it brings in different challenges and brings in new things, and it brings in all the things. And if you don't get it, it's not the end of your life because there's something else out there for you. And it's like, no, we look to these outside sources to make us feel better, when really it starts within. It starts within doing our own healing. It starts with our personal habits and the things that we do. And, you know, some of us don't want to deal with all of that because we want to go straight to let somebody else or let something else fix it for me. But it really has to start. I've said it a million times, the inside out. We do our healing work from the inside out. You want to change something in your outside work, go inside. Because that's how you get those changes. And there's no magic pill. There is some magic healing, which is pretty freaking awesome. But you know, it's like we have to bring that all together and start on the inside and then work our way out.
Yeah. And it's like to me, that's like vortex energy, right? And like, what does a vortex do? It like draws you in.
Yeah.
But it is like the drawing you in that once you get to the inside, that makes it go out, right? That's when the outside will reflect the work.
Well, and even as you say that, I'm thinking of like all of our outside world swirling around us, going crazy, which makes us, it actually like forces us to go inside sometimes to that really uncomfortable, all that pressure in there. Like that's really an uncomfortable place to be. But then when we do that, we get that opportunity to release that.
Exactly.
I freaking love that.
Like, that's the electromagnetic field of the heart, is a vortex, right? And so that's why the work that we do, like the emotional work, that's like being your authentic self, it really is like, it changes all of it. Yeah. You know, it's like that heart level work is so important.
Rini, I keep going back to this, but I'm going to kind of put you on the spot, and we're in a small group, and you can tell me no if it's just not possible. Okay. Is there anything that we can do with Trish today to give her like a super mini reading? Like, yeah. Is it possible? I'm like, is it possible? I don't even know if it's possible.
I don't know if it's possible, but you know, whatever I can do, I can.
I know you like have this process that you do, and I know that because I've done a freaking reading with you. Trish, have you had a reading with Rini?
Yeah, she has.
She has.
Yes.
Do we care if we do that on here? Like,
I would love that. If
you could just message her whatever information she needs. Like we can tap into the messaging here and you can just do that. I don't know what you need. I keep hearing this too, and I'm like, okay, I'll ask. I don't know if it's possible. I did not set that up with Rini. Like, so I'm totally putting her on the spot here. because I didn't know who would be in here, yeah, or what we were doing. So,
Yeah, I'm just pulling up your chart, Trish, because
oh, hey, she's already got it. See, we don't even have to share anything. Like, see, this is how freaking spirit works.
you know, so I'm just trying to do it where I can see you, Trish, and see your chart.
I know all the different stuff. Those I'm like, we got a lot going on here, but yeah.
Okay, so we have, so I know we actually, can I share screen? Is that okay?
Let me, yeah, so hold on, give me a hot second. Okay, go for it. I'm like, hell yeah, we can share screen. Sweet.
Okay. So you guys see that?
Yep.
Okay, so this is Trish's chart. And on the outside in the green, that's what's happening right now in the sky. So what we can see is, we can see how they're interacting. And so one of the things that I'm seeing like that's just popped right out for me right here is, so this is where the sun is right now, the Mercury is talking about in Leo. And see this moon right now, which is in Cancer, is going to come right here. And it's going to, that this is where we're going to have the new moon. And so for you right now, you are totally being activated. Your north node, which for you is your destiny point of really where you're headed. And when I say destiny, also you can think of it like soul purpose, of like why your soul chose this life, right? Our souls chose the timing to come in. So this is all like source, you know, guided. So right here, you wanted to come in with this 10 degrees of Leo, which is all about, you know, we talked about this with like your self-expression, right? This is like, this is the work you're here to do, is to be more and more your authentic self. This is like, you know, in terms of like work and things like that. No, this is like we have different purposes here than just our work, right? Our work can inform and facilitate the growth that we're seeking, right? So in this culture, we have this mindset like, oh no, I'm here to do this work. And for some people, our soul chose to do a more personal thing, or through this personal thing is how we get our highest expression and highest influence, or have our highest impact. And so I know we talked about this before, of really you being this leader of a community, and tapping into this Leo energy right now would be really potent of how, either the aspect of what is it that you're wanting to express, or if you know the kind of what, like how I can do that more, right? We had also talked about, for you, that Uranus is right on your Chiron, because we have very similar Chiron positions. So I also have this going on right now, but for you, it is pretty much exact. So what that means, Chiron is that that core wound, right? So this is a perfect time for healing your core wound of self-worth, because it's in Taurus. And I would say this continues all year, but right now is a really big portal, because now you're also getting this, you know, with the new moon, you're tying in all of this activation with your soul purpose, and how healing your core wounds can really be how we tap into our superpowers, right? Because our shadows are also our light. So when we can transform this this wound of self-worth into, yeah, I'm here and I value myself. Taurus is this, she's this earth goddess that that loves pleasure, right? Loves pleasure, loves like to get all of her senses involved, right? And so when you do that, you know, really it's this treating yourself, your body, your physical material world as sacred. And that is the light vibration of Taurus. So that abundance that we were talking about, this is a perfect example, right? Taurus loves beautiful things. Like Taurus loves to surround herself with beauty and with things of, but not cheap crap things, like high value, particular things that tap into her sacred sensuality, that make her feel alive, right? So don't be afraid to spend on yourself, but just make sure it's the thing that makes you feel more alive, that makes you feel more vibrant, and enjoying your life on this earth, right? Because Taurus is here on this earth. She's the earth goddess. And so, and these two together, they're squared, which means that there's, the square is kind of this pressure energy that brings the growth, right? It's like that place we were talking about, like that pressure being squeezed into the vortex. But that's what really encourages the kind of transformation. So when you're really focused on experiencing pleasure, and allowing yourself, really being deserving of pleasure is what's coming in with this wound here. That may, like, for you, I don't feel like it's a matter of can I afford it? You know, like I feel like the abundance is there, but maybe that deserving aspect of abundance may not be there, right? Because for some people it's different. It's like they don't feel like they deserve it, and so they can't manifest it. But for you, it's like it's already manifested. It's all around you. It's about letting it in. Like it's okay to let it in. It's okay to soak it in, and it's okay to feel awesome about it. So, you know, and I would say just even with Saturn right here is on your sun. So it's really, so right now you have a sun opposition, right? The sun is opposite your sun and Saturn is on it. So it's really, Saturn on your sun is like looking at where are the places, like where am I limiting my light, right? The sun is like, is that spirit that runs in you? Is you shining your brightest radiant light? So what are the structures or limitations or restrictions on that? Where are you limiting your light? And I would say right now is a perfect time to look at in your belief system and in your thoughts. So you have, because you have this same square that's going on right now, you have this square with different planets. So, and you have this full square. So you, I would say, even of all the charts I've read recently, you can use this time even more potently. And you can use it by just giving yourself time to be quiet and, you know, allow that healing to happen. So whatever your way is, a healing session, journaling, walks, you know, doing guided meditations, like whatever your way is, carving out time for you to do that, right? And really using that 8-8 to set an intention of letting your light shine. You know, whatever messages and things come up for you, just set that intention and just see where it goes. You don't have to, what I love about intentions, once you set them, they take you on the journey.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it and create it. And so it's the support, it's an intention is you putting it out there, and then the universe comes in to support you on it. Okay. And one of the, if you're looking for a specific meditation, loving kindness is what really came up for me with this portal. I just did my video on it, my live on Monday, of like, you know, and I'll share with you just a really simple way to do loving kindness meditation, because this is about the heart energy. right? And sending out our heart. And what I love about loving kindness is it's really practicing the vibration of love and kindness, right? And it takes practice, just like anything else. So some loving kindness meditations, they get very wordy, and to me it's too much, because then I can't sit with the vibration. So I like to keep it simple. I have 3 short phrases. You choose the words that you like, but basically, may I be happy, may I be free, may I be at ease. Those are mine. You choose your blank, may I be whatever, but those are mine. And you go through a process. You start with where it's easy, where you have somebody, or it could be a pet, that they fill you with love. It's so easy to access when you're around them. So, if you have a friend or a family member, a spouse, a child, a pet, some loved one that when you think of them, you just get filled with love. So you start with them. May they be happy, may they be free, may they be at ease. You can practice that a few times, and when you really feel that love in your heart, then you can transition to somebody that you really appreciate, somebody that has just, really been there, and it's just easy to appreciate them. You go through that. Then you can go to someone neutral, someone that's like, maybe it's a neighbor you don't know well. Maybe it's somebody you passed that just, you just noticed them, or you went to the store and they helped you check out. Just somebody that's just neutral. And you generate that same feeling of love towards that neutral person. And then you can go on to someone that's challenging, someone that maybe you're frustrated with, having an argument with, or maybe somebody just rubs you the wrong way. And you generate that love with them. And then you put yourself wherever you are on the spectrum, right? For some people, it's easy to start with themselves, and they start with themselves. For some people, they're more of a neutral, and so they'll put themselves there. And for some people, it's more challenging, and they may put themselves at the end. So you know where you're at, and you put yourself there. But in that 5-minute practice, you can really, that is really amping up that vibration of love. And remember, our heart is a vortex. So when you practice this, you are also sharing your energetic self, right? That energetic vibration is going out.
I love that, Rini. Thank you. That sounds great. That's cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Gosh, thank you, Rini. I know we kind of put you on the spot, but that's cool that you had chosen stuff already to go.
Yeah, that worked out.
Yeah. So, well, Rini, I appreciate you so much. Thanks for doing that for Trish. And where can people find you?
So, I'm so excited because I just revamped my website and made it where my web address is easier to find. So I am riniheart.com. And I have it talks about my readings there. I have a free offer if you want right now, where I've combined the healing aspects of Tai Chi with your astrological sun sign to have your own personal power pose. So that's another easy meditation that you can do that's very active. I love active meditations. So even in just 2 minutes a day, you can tap into this pose with your sun sign and start tapping into your own personal power. It helps clear out the blocks, it helps tap into your elements, and it really can help with manifestation and so many other things. And that is free if you sign up. It's offer.riniheart.com.
I love that because I've actually read through your stuff, and I'm going to send you a testimonial today because I've been working on that, and it's freaking amazing. So, I go grab that. Well, Rini, is there anything else that's standing out before we close out here? Because, is there anything else you want to talk about?
I just ending with that the heart vibration. I the heart to me is so amazing. This emotional and energetic heart. It has so many effects. And actually, they've actually proven in through science that the emotions that we hold, that we have, the vibration of the heart, is in charge of how our DNA is read. So it's in charge of how our DNA folds. The emotion that we have creates the shape of our DNA. And that talks, if you've heard of epigenetics and all of that. So it's like on a very physiological DNA level, cellular level, the emotion of our heart has so much to do about our health.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about healing, and like the loving kindness or whatever it is, it really is so powerful there, right? And that heals us. And what I love too is that energy vibration is felt by other people.
Yeah.
Right. So when we're talking about self-expression, there's no pure self-expression than just tapping into your own feeling of love, right? Because other people feel that. And that just changes things on so many levels. So yeah, just tap into that feeling, and know that that's the work. Let it ripple out, because it will.
That's the one thing that, I have focused on for a lot of years, because when we heal our heart, we really do. You heal your life, like in so many ways.
Yes.
Dealing with the grief. Yeah, dealing with grief, dealing with all those sadness, opening that area up and allowing your blood literally to pump freely without having to work so hard around the garbage. Like, that is the life force. Like, to me, that's where it definitely begins right there. Like, so
yeah, happy Leo energy, right? It's all about the
right.
Yeah.
Well, awesome, Rini. I appreciate your time so much. Thank you. I just love listening to you. I think you have this beautiful energy. From the minute I met you, clear back in January, I've had all these beautiful people come into my life. And Tristan, it's like the minute I met you, I literally just love your energy, and I love what you have to share. And so I appreciate you coming here today. I have an echo for some reason. I don't know why. I guess not. It's like,
it's very minor.
Yeah. So, all right. Well,
thank you so much, Rini, and thank you, Gina. This is great.
Yep. So, well, I was excited to bring Rini in here today. I was excited to hear about all the energies too, because I was excited to. It's so fun to hear and learn it. I know what I'm feeling, but why?
Why is this happening?
Why is this happening?
I always turn to astrology. What is going on, and why is this happening?
Right. Why am I wanting to bike 120 miles every day? Because I can't go to sleep, because I'm not sleeping, because I'm not like.
Totally.
So, all right. Well, I appreciate everybody here. If you guys watch it on the replay, you can comment. Thanks for being here, Trish. We appreciate you being in here with us. So, thank you, everyone, from the bottom of my heart. I love you guys, and we will talk to you soon. Kick us off.